So I'm starting off this chessboard with pieces of hard white maple and purple heart because my son loves purple heart. And we are going to cut this into 1.5 inch strips, and each piece is about 20 to 23 inches long right now. So now I've got the first glue up of the chessboard ready to go. Glue this all up together, and then I'll be able to cut it across in 1.5 inch strips and then glue it up again. So now I am gluing up all these strips together, and for this I use Titebond 3. This is what I use for cutting boards, and it works fairly well. The most important thing here is just to make sure that everything is as tight as possible and there's no gaps between the wood, because that could eventually lead to splits and breaks down the line. Now I'm going to do the second set of cuts, and for this I need to make sure that the stopper is exactly 1.5 inches away from the blade so that these cuts lead to exact squares instead of leading to rectangles that'll look kind of weird. Now I know what you're thinking here. Wait a minute, I thought that a chessboard is supposed to be 8 by 8. What is this, some kind of weird Arab version of chess? First of all, that's racist. You're better than that. Second of all, actually what I'm doing here is I'm making the chessboard a little bit longer so that when I run it through the planer, the snipe, which is where the planer kind of cuts deeper into the board, is on the edges, and I have enough to cut off here. I do this with my cutting boards as well, where I account for the fact that there's going to be a weird little ridge in the wood that I can chop off later. And now after planing, it's time to clean up the edges here and cut it down to an 8 by 8 board. Okay, so now I have cut 4 pieces of walnuts that are going to be my border, but to give it a really nice clean look, I'm going to run it through the 45-degree miter sled so that we have really nice mitered corners over here for the border. So now, as you can see with the walnut border, it's looking a lot better. We got these mitered corners. These will get tighter once I clamp it up. Now I've decided to make a base for the board that's going to double as a box that you can store chess pieces in. And for this I've cut out mitered sides out of 5/4 white oak that are going to serve as the base here. So for this glue up, what I do is I use some painter's tape to align the pieces together, and then I throw in some Titebond, pull it all together, put some painter's tape on each corner to hold it together, and then I use a band clamp to compress it and make sure that those corners are going to be really tight and strong. So now once that glue has dried, what I can do is I can run it through the router table where I've put a rabbiting bit on the router so that this can cut out a little groove through which I can put a base for the box. For the base of the box here, I just went with some simple plywood. I might cover this up with some veneer later. Now I skipped a few steps here because I was on a time crunch. This is actually a birthday gift for my son. So this is after we've put on the hard wax finish, and as you can see I have added 2 hinges on it to allow the chessboard to rotate up to open up where the chess pieces are going to be stored. So I'm pretty happy with it. Looks pretty nice, and I hope that it stands the test of time with a 5-year-old.